Okay, people, so I am outside of AutoZone because I had to get me this. Yes. Oh my goodness. Had to go and get some motor oil because just wait 1 second. I'm gonna show you what happened. Everything was running fine, it was doing good, and then all of a sudden my oil light came on inside. So I'm like, okay, what is this? So hold on, I'm gonna show you first. All right. Now, this is the oil. And I was thinking maybe it burnt out, maybe because it's the hemp seed oil. It just burnt out, it didn't last as long. So now I need to talk to an actual mechanic and find out exactly what happened and why. And this is super thick. Okay? Now I'm gonna see, let me hold it with that hand, see if I can hold the camera and the dipstick without it touching anything. Because I ain't trying to put no extra particles and stuff back up in there than whatever this already is. See? Like I'm taking a napkin. First of all, it's going all the way up the dipstick. It's not just stuck to the bottom. And it's all thick. See? Like it's thick and sticky. I don't know if you can see that. See how it's sticky. So I'm sure it's like the evaporated oil mixed with whatever was left. Traces of the last oil, gunked up particles. So maybe when you use the straight hemp seed oil from out the grocery store, maybe you would have to add more to it. But this ain't it. This is the first part of this science experiment. Right? And so now I found a place that actually makes motor oil from hemp seed. Now I don't know if they do anything extra, anything different to it, where this don't happen, or if maybe I should have flushed it out. I don't know why I said that right there. Put that back in. No. And I feel like I should take that and go clean it out, but I'm not at home, so. But I had to be honest with you guys. Can't just act like, because it ain't about me. It's about the actual science and what is right, what is best. Yeah, it's dry. So I think it all evaporated very fast. So maybe from that company that's out of California, maybe the hemp seed oil, motor oil that they make, maybe it has some additive to it where it don't burn out as easily or as fast. This is, I have to go back and look at the day that I had it changed originally, that me and my son changed it. The same day that I posted the video is the day that we changed it. And today is February 28th, 2024. And it just came on, and I don't have my filter. I guess I should have just bought, not a filter, a funnel. I guess I should have bought one. See if I can, oh no, get it in the hole. Pour in and pour in and pour in. Oh, making a mess. Because I don't want my engine to just stop working. I don't want to be stuck on the side of the road some damn where. But we're going to figure this out. And so now what I did, this is Castrol Edge. And it said something about the carbon emissions. Oh no. I'll turn the bottle around and show you in a second after I'm finished filling this up. Alright, I'll be back after this is done. Okay, yes. So that just really took the whole bottle. And now what my hope is right now is that this one would also clean all that extra gunk out that's in it now. So, okay, so now let me show you. See, it says carbon neutral, right? Carbon neutral dextrose. One, I have a 2011 Nissan Quest. So it doesn't say it on the cap here, but the manual, and then when I look it up and everything, 5W30, that's the thickness of it, all that good stuff. So I just got the one that said carbon neutral to be as close to like hemp as possible, right? Carbon neutral is great. That means it's not putting those emissions out. So, you know, they did something. They did something. All right, now that is that, and that took the whole thing, the whole 5 quarts. It was dry, okay? It was completely dry. Now to top all this up, cap it up, cap it up. I'll put this in the trash. All right, so, you know, my hypothesis was that it was just going to be smooth sailing, it was going to run great, and I was wrong, okay? I was wrong. Smell was fine, everything was running fine, up until that light came on. Okay? So, the next go around, I couldn't just ride around like that with nothing in it at all. But next go around, I'm going to order the motor oil. Well, I'm going to talk to them and find out if they put anything extra in it. And then I'm going to order the motor oil and I'm going to put that in there. And I'm going to order some extra just in case it still just burns out fast. Like maybe that's just the nature of the hemp seed oil, that it just burns out fast. So just in case, I'm going to get double the amount. So that if it starts, and continue to check it and not just let it go until next oil change type of thing. I'm going to continue to check it and put more in there if I need to. Now, I'll let you guys know how I go. Peace. Okay, I just drove back home about 10 miles. The oil light was coming on and off the whole way. I'll sit that right there. It's definitely wiping off smoother, of course, because it ain't thick, dry as oil. Alright, let's see. I was able to use some of the hot oil to wipe off some of the sticky. That back down to there. Yeah. So now the smell is this horrible smell. We had to turn the windows down, had to roll the windows down while we was on the way back. This is like a really horrible smell burning inside. A smell that I did not smell while it was the hemp seed oil in there. So it could have been because I spilt the oil down on the side of the thing because I didn't have a funnel. And so that could be what we're smelling burning off, that oil. Or it could be just because the hemp seed oil is more natural without all the additives. But then the additives seems to be what helps it to not burn off as fast. So I have to do a little more research on that. Talk to some mechanics that know what they're talking about. Some mechanics that have an engineer mindset, not people that just work on cars, you know. some actual mechanics, so we can think through this thing and figure it out exactly. Because, if all of the reports and everything is saying that it can run off of it, like, what is the difference? I was watching a video that was talking about the numbers, the W530, W520, W510, W0, 20, 30, 40, whatever. And they were saying that is the thickness of it. That's the thickness of the oil. And now hemp seed oil is not as thick as the other oils. So maybe that's part of the reason why it burnt off so fast. And then I'm driving a 2011 Nissan Quest. So also different engines take different oils for that reason, because of how the engine is made. They need different levels of viscosity to function properly, right? That's why you got to read your manual and they tell you the different ones to get. So now I'm wondering how, after we process grow the hemp, clean the soil, use the seeds to process oil, now after remediation, we won't be able to use that for anything that's consumable, right? Because it now has uptaken all of the toxins and pollutants from the groundwater and from the soil. But it could be used for textiles and stuff like that. And the seeds should still be able to produce good, clean oil. We can still produce good, clean oil from the seeds. And that'll be filtered out. And of course, there's other ways that you could, make it a little more versatile in uses, by extracting the metals and stuff like that out of the plant matter later. But anyway, I got to get this oil thing straight. I got to figure this out. See? And now the light is still on. But as I was driving, it'll come on and go off, come on and go off, come on and go off. And at one point, the light came on and the battery light came on and the engine pretty much stopped. Like I wasn't able to accelerate. Like I couldn't accelerate anymore. And the brakes got really stiff. So I just had to pull over, hit the brakes as hard as I could, just kind of push it down until I stopped. And then I put it in park, cut it off, sat there for like less than a minute, just a few seconds, and then cut it back on. And everything was great. I was able to get home just fine. And the light kind of went on and off. And I was trying to keep up with it, like when it was going off and on. But I couldn't see any correlation. I was thinking maybe it went off, like the light came on, this oil light right here came on when I hit the brakes. Or maybe when the thing started idling higher or something, right? But that didn't happen. When I stopped at a red light, it didn't come on. But then while I was driving, it came on. So see how it went off? And I'm sitting here. I haven't moved. So it's just going on and off. And then it came on again while I was driving. So I was thinking, well, maybe it's when I accelerate. But that wasn't true either, because it went off. And then the next time when I hit the gas, it didn't come back on. Like I purposely accelerated more to see if and it didn't. But good thing the battery lights and none of that stuff came back on. The rest of the ride here. And from where we were, it's 10 miles, roughly 10 miles away from my house, where we was. And then on the way there, when we was pretty close to the location, the light came on. I thought it came on, and I was like, what? And I stopped and looked. I'm like, I could have sworn I just saw the light. And I thought maybe I was just tripping. And there was no light until, we got there. But when we left and I went to go and cut the car on, the light came on and stayed on. And I was like, you know what? I knew I saw something. I knew I wasn't crazy. But good thing there was an auto zone right there in the same center where we was at. So we just pulled up to the auto zone, and I was able to get that oil and put it in there. And like now, I don't smell anything. But when I cut my heat on, that's when I smell that smell coming off of it. So I guess I'll wait to see if it evaporates or something like that. Maybe it's just because I spilt some over the side or something. So it could be burning off from the outside. But if just like that dipstick was like thick with that gunk on it, if that's what it's like inside the engine and parts, then that's a bit scary. That's a bit worrisome to me. But I feel like I don't have too much to worry about because it is hemp. So it's not like it's heavy metals and stuff like that that's clumping up. And then I put the other oil in and rode, for 10 miles on it, and the car was already warmed up. So just like it started easily coming off with the hot oil, started easily coming off of the dipstick, I'm imagining that's what's happening with the metal inside the engine, that hot oil is heating it up and causing it to kind of melt away, and it'll burn off through the exhaust. Okay? So that means if I need to go and get air, if I should happen to wake up in the morning and my back passenger side tire is flat, then I'll have to deal with the smoke coming from it, and I can really see the difference. See if it was just me getting excited because it's hemp oil, and just got excited about the hemp, like, oh, I smell nothing, and then really I smell nothing with this other oil too. But I don't think that's the case, because I distinctly remember the smoke being harsh coming out of the exhaust, because a couple of times I had to get up and no, let me cut this car off. Why I ain't cut it off before? I don't want this shit blowing in my face. But when it was just a straight hemp oil, it was no problem. See now? And I was just waiting to see if that smell come out again. And it's starting to smell now. That harsh smell coming through my vents. But then I'll see what the exhaust is like when I go to see what the PSI is of my tires. When I go hit up Wawa's for the free air. Okay. So that was it. That was a bit humbling. A little bit disappointed, but I can't take it personal because it's just science. I'm figuring this out. We're figuring this out. And I'm sharing it with you guys because if this is a way, that is awesome. And I think it's really good. Like, someone's going to come across these videos and it's going to be some really good information, a really good educational experience to see someone actually braving through this process. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't have a whole bunch of money right now. So this is a big chance, me going ahead and putting hemp seed oil, doing something that is unconventional, something that you just don't see. You just kind of hear about talks of the past, and they had completely different vehicles back then, running off of hemp, made out of hemp, and all of that stuff. But putting it in a modern engine today, right? That's not a lawnmower or something like that. Actually putting it, and this is my main vehicle right now. my main way of transportation right now. Like, this is how I get around. So if the engine blew up, I would have been fucked, But for science, because somebody got to do it. We got to figure this shit out. See how it just came on and went back off? Now, why is that? There's some mechanic out there that can tell me that. Now, it's flashing more often and faster now. So there's somebody out there that can tell me what is up with that. Okay? Yes, so, professional help. We can figure this out together, because I can look at YouTube videos all day. I can watch Scotty Kilmer. I'm going to email him. I'm going to message him somehow. I don't know, maybe he has his email posted or something. I'm going to message him in a video. Maybe he actually reads these things, and somehow I will get a message back. And there's another one, Chris Fix, who seems to do really great jobs at like fixing up vehicles and stuff like that. I'm gonna hit these guys up, and I'm gonna see, and I'm gonna call around and talk to some local mechanics. But so far, even just talking about the hemp, I couldn't, I hadn't really gotten anywhere with it. But I don't talk to a whole lot of people. So I'm gonna keep at it. We're going to see. These answers going to come. I have faith. Thank you, Jesus. Okay? This is, I'm going to figure this out. That's what I always say. But then I always figure it out. Some way, somehow, it gets figured out. And then, by the way, the parts are on the way. The check engine light didn't go off yet since last time. Almost pretty sure I know what that is under the tank. And then the anti-lock brakes and the swerve thing, that's because of the tire, because, I have to get the rotor, the rotor, the brakes, and the tie rod, the outer tie rod. And because those are gone in the wheel bearing, and because those are like jacked, those are really screwed up, it caused the ABS light to come on, because they're probably disconnected from the wheel, right? The little sensor probably disconnected from the wheel or something, because that's all screwed up, and it makes this very loud, embarrassing sound whenever I make a left turn. And then it gets very difficult. But, at this point, I can still get from point A to point B. But, I'm grateful. Those parts will be on the way soon. So, yeah, that's that. And then we're going to get those put on there, get those fixed, reset that. And then next is to find out what's going on, why that check engine light is on. I still have the paper from AutoZone when I had them hook it up. So it's on there. So I have a number of things. But one of the things that I was thinking was because of the oil. But the oil has been changed, and then I added more oil, and that light never went off. So I have to go back and look at some other possible reasons why. I may have to take out and clean the intake valve. Hopefully that's it. Or maybe the sensor, maybe I have to get some of that spray and clean the intake sensor and put that back in, because last time I thought it was that. Really, it was a hole in the air vent thingy, like that little plastic piece that covers the filter, the air filter on the outside of the car, like under the hood air filter, not the air filter that's inside the car, but the air filter on the outside of the car. It's like a little plastic thing, and on this car is real tight and close together. So I'm sure one of the times that I lifted off, it broke. It like ripped or something, so I just had to replace that. That didn't cost too much. That was pretty simple to replace. It could be that again. Around that time, I took it to a shop, and they told me that it was the sensor, that it was the air intake sensor. So I ended up getting that changed, and the problem still persisted. So I took that right back and had them change it back, and I took that piece right back to the shop and got my money back for it. and got my money back for that job being done, because that wasn't the case. And then, he touched all on it, so I had to like spray that stuff off to clean it off, because the air sensor is very sensitive. So I had to clean that off and put that back, and everything was fine. Now the light is on again. I'm almost 100% sure it's not that, but I would check all of those things, including the issues that was listed on the paper. It doesn't come to me right now off the top of my head, but I have the paper in the house. I could just read it, go down the checklist, go online, look up some of these mechanic sites that explains what the number codes are, and goes through exactly how to test if it's one thing or another, right? They have ways that you can test it to see exactly what it is. A lot of times when you take your car to the shop, they'll just give you what is most common, and what's most common isn't always the case. Or sometimes they'll have a method of starting with what is the easiest fix, right? And then before you know it, you're going through all of these things, paying for all these services to be done, and none of them really needed to be done, right? Because sometimes these people are just people who work on cars, who know how to work on cars. I wouldn't call them a mechanic, because they don't have that engineer mindset part of it, where they go through step by step, and they, using their understanding of how exactly cars run and function, right? Go through the proper steps to identify exactly what the problem is, right? Because a code will come up, and attached to that code could be a number of possible problems, reasons as to why that code is going off. And instead of them going through the process to see, they'll just use their own method, either starting with what's easiest, starting with what's most common, or whatever. And then you're paying out the ass until finally you figure out what it is, or until finally you sell it to somebody. Like, I'm about to find somebody's car, and it's like a really cheap, quick fix. And really, they don't know. They just really tired of it and just want to get rid of it. So I'm about to go and find somebody who is in that exact same situation, and I'm going to buy that car up off of them, and I'm going to do that little repair that it takes to get it fixed. And then I'm going to use that car also to put some hemp seed oil in it, and that's going to be my day-to-day driving vehicle, maybe. Or I'm gonna rent it out, or I'm gonna rent this out, because I still got a car note on this one that I want to get from up under. So I'm gonna make sure this is fully functional, and I'm gonna rent this out. That's the only reason I'm getting this fixed, is so that those rental fees will cover the car note, so I ain't got to worry about that car note. And then I'll just have my other car that I just pay straight out, because screw these dealerships. I mean, it works, it's great, it comes in a clutch when you ain't got all that money up front. But if you can find some car that just needs some little repair done to it, or something that somebody is just tired of, or some older person can't drive no more, and they got a car that they was taking care of, usually they selling for pretty cheap. That is the way to go, and that is the way I'm gonna go, because screw a car note, okay? But anyway, now I'm done with that rant. Back to the hemp seed oil. Right now I have that oil in it. I feel a ways about wasting that oil, because that was $42 that I just paid for that. Is emission negative, so I still feel good about that. Not adding to the pollution and greenhouse gases, right? So I feel good about that. That's why I went ahead with that one instead of getting the one that was like $26. Yeah. But then we're going right back to the hemp seed oil, because it's industrial hemp. It's hemp seed oil. It's hemp. Hemp is great. Okay? Hemp is great. It's a really great alternative. Now we just got to figure out how to make it its best self. Okay? All right. Peace. Love you guys. Thank you for watching. Stay tuned. Hit like, subscribe, share, all that good stuff. Share your car experiences. If you are a mechanic and you know anything about this, please, please, please do not hesitate to leave a comment. Let me know something. Because, I'm walking through this thing on my own. And I'm going to figure it out one way or the other. But it will be a lot easier and a lot more interesting if you were with me. Peace.